Hello everyone, welcome back to Highway Blossoms. Apologies for the time that's gone between recordings. It's been a while. I had a very hectic end of the summer season, but now things have calmed down and I'm back and I can record again. So I really want to get back into this, find out what happens. It seemed like the story was just getting good. Last time we formally met Mariah, we found out that there is some credibility to this treasure hunting thing. And we found out what happened to Marina's car. So let's just jump back into it. It feels like the page is staring back at me. In fact, at this point, it probably is. My gaze drifts from the journal to the window by the entrance. Marina's outside, twirling the payphone's cord as she pops in another quarter. She bites her lips and looks through the window. Our eyes meet. She sends me a small, anxious wave. Closing the book, I let out a yawn and move my head from my fist. I'm sure there's a red imprint on my cheek. Figuring out we had to go to Shiprock was the easy part. Everything else has been a gigantic pain in the ass. There's a rush of precious cold air getting sucked from the building. Marina enters, carefully shutting the door and taking the seat opposite me in the booth. So how'd it go? It went fine, I guess. Your parents are okay with all of this? Maybe not okay. A smile creeps onto her face. But they understand. At least someone gets it, because I still don't. They weren't happy about the car, though. I think you were the only person who was. How couldn't I be? Mariah showed us the treasure is real. You're going to believe the people who stole your car? It was an accident. They didn't mean to. Besides, they're nice. Before I can argue further, our waitress emerges from the kitchen carrying our order. A hot black coffee for me, a milkshake for Marina, and a large order of fries for us both. Marina's eyes brighten at the sight of the shake. Like with the slushie, her sweet tooth takes control of her and she practically starts drooling over the glass. With a nod, the waitress disappears back into the kitchen. Thanks for the food, by the way. Well, it's not like I really had a choice. I could hear your stomach from the driver's seat. I wasn't about to let you starve to death on my watch. Plus, I was getting pretty hungry too. Amazingly, Marina didn't freak out at the sight at the diner like she had at everything else so far. I was genuinely shocked when I didn't hear a gasp of awe escape her mouth as we pulled up. Hey Amber, why didn't you get a shake too? Coffee and fries don't really go together, don't you think? I'm fine. I don't really like sweet things. Oh, Amber, please, except for Marina, because she's plenty sweet, and we know you really like her, if it isn't obvious. If the subtext isn't obvious, brought on by the dichotomy of your two starkly different personalities, which I hope get a little more depth to them, because I really feel like it's a tired old trope of having sort of the jaded loner who's kind of bitter, kind of overly serious, who likes to drink coffee, dark black coffee, as opposed to the girl who's really sweet. Oh, the people who stole my car, I don't hold any bad feelings, and I'm so naive and innocent, and it's just... I hope a little more depth gets brought out of these characters, because this is very two-dimensional, this is very tropey, it's very predictable, it's boring. But I have faith. I have faith. Why would I be playing if I didn't have faith? But it's super good, especially when you dip your fries in it. She takes several of the fries and does just that, dipping them in the shake like it was ketchup or mustard. That's silly. I can do the same thing with my coffee. Yeah, but it doesn't taste as good, Amber. I mean, you might want to go with Marina on this. The sweet, salty combo of fries and a shake is there's nothing like it. Coffee in a fry? Ugh, probably not as great. Taking a fry, I dunk it into my coffee and take a bite out of it. That was a bad idea. Grimacing, I placed the rest of the fry on my napkin as I tried to cope with the cold chill and sulfury aftertaste. Maybe it would work better if you put creamer in it? Somehow, I doubt that. Besides, it would just ruin the coffee. I don't know how you can even drink it without cream, or at least a little sugar. It's so bitter. It's an acquired taste. You find flavor in the bitterness. It's kind of an on-the-nose comment. That might be alluding to something else. Someone else. Anyways. That's why I think it's weird that you drink something like that. How do you mean? I don't know. Her brow furrows in deep thought. You always seem so yes or no about stuff. If you like something, then you do. If you don't like something, then you don't. You're losing me, Mar. Mar, I guess is how she'd pronounce it. Marina? Mar? Yeah. Or Mare? I don't know. I'll go with Mar. What did Mom used to tell us when we didn't listen to her? Oh yeah. Basically, you have a really thick head, Amber. Well, our protagonists in VNs always have thick heads, don't they? I nearly spit the coffee out of my mouth. Gee, thanks. I also don't know if I buy that logic. It just seems to me that Amber sees things in black and white, which is fair. I think, yeah. Or was it a thick skull? Whatever, you know what I mean, right? I think so, maybe. It wasn't really an acquired taste for me, now that I think about it. Maybe I've always liked the bitterness. Or maybe I just convinced myself that I did. I don't know. So this is some really good subtext, and it kind of feels like it's overused, but it's interesting when you have a character such as Amber herself, who we can tell she has a little bitterness in her personality, right? And she's drinking black coffee, and there's kind of, and she's and you know, Marina's questioning her about enjoying the bitterness of it, and Amber's saying stuff like, "Oh, the bitterness is an acquired taste," and it's really interesting subtext, as you can see. Her preference for coffee kind of reflects the preference in her perspective on the world, and that's some nice writing. That's some nice writing, even though the whole serious people or bitter people enjoying dark coffee is very overused. That was a nice little piece of writing with the kind of subtext. Is that a bad thing? Just like in Mariah's RV, Marina shakes her head and gives me a sweet, genuine smile. I don't think so. I actually really like it. It reminds me of shiprock. A warm, tickling sensation bubbles up in my chest. It forces me to smile, but I play it off all cool and breezy like, I remind you of a rock? You shouldn't say that kind of thing. People might think they're insults. Well, thick skull, hard-headed, a rock. Maybe there is some more similarity than you're willing to admit, Amber. Satisfied with how I played that off, I reach for a fry to reward myself, but instead of hot, crispy goodness, something smooth brushes against my fingertips. I gaze down at the plate of fries. Marina's hand, for a split second, rests below mine. We instinctively snap back. Marina's face is a bright shade of pink, and mine is probably similar. Sorry. The room feels 10 degrees hotter. We try to re-establish eye contact, but our glances shoot off in other directions as soon as we meet. Hey, Amber. I managed to compose myself long enough to look back. You said something about bills and expenses last night, right? I don't know exactly what you meant by that or what it is you have to pay off, but since we know the treasure is real now, I was wondering. Maybe you might think about sticking around to look with me? We could even split it or something. Well, first off, we don't even know if the treasure is actually real. Mariah could be pulling our legs. My coffee is mostly gone. All that's left is a puddle and a few stray grounds. I'll think about it, though. Really? I only said I would think about it. Don't get too excited just yet. I won't. I just think it would be super cool. Marina flops her chin down and rests on the table. How's it going anyway? Have you figured out where the first part of the treasure might be? No luck. It's not like the guy drew a map or anything. He just jotted down details about the places he went to. That and rambling about how awesome he was. Do you think Mariah was right and he hid it on top of old Shippy? Don't listen to Mariah, okay? She doesn't know what she's talking about. Think about how he would even scale the mountain. He was traveling solo on horseback. I doubt he would have the tools to do it. And even if he did, I'm pretty sure he would have gone on and on about it in his journal. With a puppy dog whine, Marina frowns. Are you sure he didn't mention anything else? Maybe something we didn't catch. I slide the book across the table over the leftover crumbs, stretching out my stiff joints as I rest against the booth. Take a look if you want. My eyes are going to start bleeding if I read it again. The only thing he really mentioned are the rocks, and he dikes around, and then dikes around it. Oh. Marina forces herself to stare down at the plate, the blush from earlier reappearing. Oh. No, not like that. I stifle a giggle. Teasing her is going to be a blast. I mean, the rocks that branch out from the mountain, that's what they're called. Huh. It's so simple, but it makes sense. I shoot up and throw down some money. Marina jumps at the sound of the table rattling. What's the matter? Did you figure out where it is? Maybe, at least a general area. I march towards the door. The table rattles again as Marina leaps up. She stays behind to straighten it out before scrambling to catch up with me. We're going now? Hell no, we don't have any equipment. But we know someone who does. I shove the door open. The last, how do you pronounce that word? Bastion? Between refreshing air and burning dry heat? I have no idea what that word is. Excuse me if I pronounced it wrong. Come on, let's go cash in a favor. It was nice for Mariah and her friends to let us use some of their equipment. Only after that Joseph guy begged her to. I paused to look around. We decided to wait until nightfall to go look around some more. It's like an entirely different world the further you get from the insanity. Quiet and calm. The only lights are the stars and the faint glow of the campground, the campers and motorhomes flickering in the distance. Marina fiddles with the metal detector's headphones, removing them halfway. Sorry, the beeping's loud. What was that? Forget it. I'm not playing that game. Just keep listening. Oh. Did you find something? I think so. It's over here. I set aside my shovel and throw myself to the ground, clawing at the sand. A shiny speck sticks out of the ground. Frantically, I dig it up. Is it the gold? It's... I scrape harder. It's harder. It's... Finally, I unearth it and hold it up to the starlight. A soda tab. Ah, that's the worst. I feel like, considering my job considers me to, like, go hike in the woods and out in the backcountry and to look for stuff, every time I think I find something cool and it's like a damn soda tab, I'm just like, ah. Anyways, that was probably actually super confusing to all of you. You don't know what I do for a living, but soda tabs are always really frustrating. Anyways, I'm gonna get off myself. If we find any more, we could start making a curtain out of them. Ah, Marina, always looking on the bright side. That's what's so great about you. I send the tab flying, speeding off over the dikes. Maybe we should call it a night. I'm sure we can find it once we're fresh in the morning. I still don't understand what Amber put together. I don't know. Can we look at this journal thingy? Does that tell us? I guess we haven't unlocked it yet. I'm confused. I wish I could put 2 and 2 together here. That would really help. Maybe it will become super obvious when we get to it. Hopefully in the next couple minutes. Nah, that's no good. We can only do it now because Parks and Recreation isn't paying as much attention. Though even now, someone's still guarding the area near the campground. The rocks give us some cover, so I don't think we'll be spotted, but we still need to be careful. We'll keep looking for a little while. If we can't find anything, we might want to assume the worst. Her face wrenches with hopelessness. That somebody else found it? That it doesn't exist? Geez, it's like you've never even considered that it might not be real. But Mariah... Yeah, I know. I grab my shovel and swing it back over my shoulder. As we walk, we stay as close to the mountain range as possible. Why are you so gung-ho about this thing anyway? If you're just in it for the cash, there are better ways to make money than dragging yourself around the desert. Oh no, it's nothing like that. It's just... Her voice trails off. It hangs over us, never fully evaporating into the cool night air. It's okay. Don't feel like you have to tell me. We both have things we don't want to talk about. That's becoming very clear. At least Marina doesn't swerve off the road so she can go pout. I just don't want to think about it. All I've been doing for the last month is thinking about it. I almost wish my brain would quit working so I wouldn't have to. So naturally, I take a long, lonely trip with nothing to do except think. Amber, it's happening again. Marina stops, hands quivering as she tightens her grip. I swear, if this is another soda tab. I don't think it is. The beeping is really loud and it's vibrating a lot. Wait, it's vibrating? It feels weird. The metal detector hovers over the ground between the rock and the sand. I thrust my shovel into the spot, the metal scraping against the edge of the dike. Planting my foot on the shovel's head, I drive it further into the ground, using every ounce of my strength to dig. The first load of dirt and sand unclenches from the ground, loosening the earth around it. I throw the load aside and repeat the process. Each time it's a little easier, a little lighter. Finally, the shovel strikes something hard, sending a shocking vibration through my hand and up my entire body. Bedrock? I haven't dug that deep. Dropping to my knees, I reach my hands into the hole and brush off the remaining dirt. Marina leans in. The sound of her anxiously swallowing is barely audible over my heavy breathing. My fingers brush against something. I gulp and pull out the hole's contents. A small, rotting wood box. My heart stops. Trembling, I open the box, the leftover dirt falling into my lap. Gold. It exists? It exists? It exists! Marina yells at the top of her lungs, a yell so loud that it bounces off the mountain, echoing off the horizon and then back again. Marina has been unleashed. Not so loud, they might hear us. She lowers her voice to an excited whisper, channeling her energy into bouncing up and down. But it exists! I told you it did! She's right, and despite being proven wrong, I can't help but smile. Here I thought it was going to be some plastic treasure chest with a coupon for chocolate milk inside it or something. something equally shameless and corporate. Amber! My only warning is a quick gust of wind. Before I even have a chance to brace for it, I'm engulfed by Marina and her hug. What? It's real! I told you it was! I told you! I stop for a second, then smile. Yeah, you were right. It's real. Should we tell someone? What do we even do now? Don't tell someone! You guys just, found the most epic geocache ever. This is what this reminds me of, geocaching, except you're usually not digging in the ground because that's illegal on public lands, which, by the way, the laws Amber and Marina have broken right now. Whatever, you can't put reality, you can't enforce reality on a story like this, but holy shit, the laws you've broken, the fact that there are people camping who are clearly looking for this treasure and might be disturbing public lands like this. I'm surprised there isn't some kind of law enforcement or parks and recreation out there patrolling stricter, because this is really bad. This is really bad. But whatever, we're not here, we're here for the fucking Yuri. Anyways, this is cute, I love it. Don't tell anyone is my point. Honestly, I'm not sure.